Welcome to the Stanley Parable, one of my favorite games. I'll take a break from Subnautica for the moment and do a playthrough of the happy ending version of the game, which is the main storyline. It's not very long. But what I love about the Stanley Parable is that it originally started as a mod on Half-Life 2. And the basic core, the original gameplay, is essentially what this is. But the new completed version of the game that you can get on Steam has so many different new endings and dialogue choices, narrative dialogue excerpts, and so many little things you can do to cause him to say this or that, and different routes. So let's go ahead. I'm not going to say anything during the intro.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
And this is where the game begins. There's so many choices. I mean, it's like right now you have a choice of either leaving your room or shutting the door and staying here. But I'm just going to go ahead.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
While you're playing through, you'll notice...
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
You'll notice computer screens. These don't really do anything. You can turn them off. But there's one special one, which I'll show you in a minute. Let's see if I could still do the achievement thing here, though.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
No, that's a shame. I already have the achievement. If you jiggle the handle on this door 5 times, he starts going into talking about this particular achievement you can get, and you can go on this quest of jiggling this handle and touching the copy machine and this and that, and it's really fun. I'm not seeing. Oh, it's because I've already done the heaven ending. That's why. But normally you would find, like, it's when you first start the game, it's usually this computer is kind of, it says input on it. You click it and it'll put one little pink cube on the line, and at that point you hit your escape, begin game again, go around, find the next computer, and so forth and so on. But there's little things like this.
Oh, and I guess this is where Stanley felt he needed to be right now, in this little hallway. Here, with no distractions, to study room 417. Not to actually enter it. No. That would be far too forward. Stanley wanted to know it from the outside. To see it not just with his eyes, but with his heart. He would know room 417 as no man or woman had ever known an office before. That ladder over there. Oh, and that little picture of a horizon or something. It's all just a never-ending parade of joy for Stanley. Ah, no, apparently not. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
And we'll follow the narrative story along here. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
What I like about this room is all these things you can read on these whiteboards. I'll let you pause, and then you can read them at your leisure. Right, there we go. But I think that's a stupid idea! There's a lot of funny slides in here too. Please, no more charts. I'm begging. Stop. Now you can go into the broom closet here and get the broom closet ending. Well, sort of. It goes on for a little while. It's a little long, but it's still funny. I'll let you.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I'll let you do the broom closet ending for yourself. Now, after you play through several plays of this, several iterations, you will eventually be able to go into the bathroom there. There's something written on the wall, I forget what it was. And there's also a room back there with a funny elevator sequence.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew that the combo was 2845, it would be another story entirely. But no, this is what he was going to do instead.
Now, if you keep pushing the buttons, it'll automatically just open the door for you.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
You can get an achievement as well from the keypad when you come through here for the first time and do 4 8s, 8888, and then again, which will also open this door. But there's a special achievement for it. I don't know what that achievement means, but
descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself. to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Now, this is another junction point, so you can go to the left here, and there's a big sequence down there, which takes you to the museum, if you play it right. Museums are behind the scenes look at how the game was made.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Oh, there's two people out of all the employees that get fired. See, right, that one and that one over there. 104 and 601.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Now, if you stand here and wait a minute, I think it's about a minute, these gates will open again, and you make your way all the way over there, back to the first button and press it, and you'll get the secret ending, which is, it's not really an ending. It's a hidden Easter egg in a way. It has some great party music. But I'll let you play with that and find it yourself.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
I wasn't looking up because that thing will blind you, that klaxon.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Now there's at least maybe 2 secrets in here. Hey, notice that door over there. Or is that the one I came in? Oh yeah, okay, it is. There's these buttons, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These 1 and 2 are here. 5 is over there behind that blue box. 4 is up there. 5 is way over there. But I believe there's a certain sequence to them, and I'm not exactly sure what it is. I have to look on I guess, the Stanley Parable wiki. But it looks like, because this door is illuminated, and I believe I can see under it a little bit there, it does unlock. And you can see there's a wire running along. It looks like it's going up to 4 up there. But you can't just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and the door does not open. I've tried that. So there is a certain way you have to hit them. But I'm not sure. It might be something to do with these codes, but I've tried them and they don't work. Plus there's no 0. So it'd be nice. I gotta find out how to disable the console. Could have something to do with these buttons here too. But there's no button on that side where that cord's going into it. You can go around and push these buttons, but they don't really do anything. There's some funny... Wish I could zoom in on that. Light it up more. If you take your time and you come around and look at these things, there's some funny text written on them, especially upstairs when you first start off at the copier. Just bend down and look at the papers. The copier, it's spewing out dialogue saying help me, and so forth and so on. What does it say over there on the right? Line control system something.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
And here you go again. You have your choice. Ooh, what's this? Ask 431 for pencil. 431 is per procedure did not respond. Okay, that's one I've never seen before. So you can turn it on or off. They're both interesting endings, but I'm going to go for the on this, no, the off this time. This is the happy ending, or the freedom ending, I guess.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
And what a door it is. Pitch black.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
And that is the freedom or happy ending to the game. One of many endings. Each ending starts you right back at the beginning again, so you can proceed out and find the next one. So I'll end it here with the happy ending. Might do the, if you are interested, I might do the others, but you gotta let me know in the comments. Alright, I'll see you next time in the Stanley Parable.